Welcome, everyone. I'm Louis Katz, co-chair of Cleveland Community Police Committee. To my left is the co-chair, Latoya Logan. She and Commissioner Friedman have been at this longer than any of the rest of us. Everyone's going to get to say hello. I just want to say this is a sad occasion. This is probably our last public meeting. Before the next public meeting, the new police commission will probably be sworn in. I'd just like to say that I have worked with this group for 2.5 years, and I believe we have worked diligently and honestly in favor of police reform. We welcome you here tonight. Commissioner Logan?
Yes, thank you for joining us this evening. We have a pretty full agenda, so I think it's best if you all can make your way to your seat, get prepared for what we're going to cover tonight so we can begin with our guests. We always like to acknowledge any community organizations that are present, as well as members of the monitoring team, Cleveland Division of Police, and if there are any individuals who would like to step up about social justice and introduce yourself, now is a great time to do so. So if you are members of any of those demographics, if you want to stand up and introduce yourself, Shelly is here. Shelly is right here, and we'll bring a mic to you so that you can be recorded for television. So again, if you are a member of a community organization, if you are a member of the monitoring team or Department of Justice, or if you're a member of the Cleveland Division of Police and you would like to announce that you are present, now is a great time to do so.
Good afternoon. My name is Martha Brown, and I'm president of the Leesville Miles Citizen Council, and this is a neighborhood organization that serves the Leesville Miles area. I won't get up, but I'm LaShawn Caldwell, and I'm a homeowner in Mount Pleasant. I'm the street club president and also the precinct committee person elected last election for Ward 4U.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bernita Thomas, and I also live in Ward 1. I am a precinct committee person of Precinct H. I also belong to the Leesville Citizen Council in Coastal Road. And I also grew up in Mount Pleasant.
How you doing? My name is Robin Green. I'm in Ward 4, and I'm the precinct committee person for N.
And again, thank you for joining us today. So next on our agenda is a welcome, making sure that you know who the commissioners are. So we're going to take an opportunity for them to introduce themselves, beginning on the left, working their way to the right. So we can actually start with Jason Goodrich and then move over.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Goodrich. I am the executive director of the CPC. I'm up here tonight representing our wonderful staff who are out there in the audience assisting this evening. So once again, I always start with a thank you to the staff for being here this evening, and great support to the commissioners over the years.
And commissioners, will you please pull the mic forward to your mouth so that the people to the back of the room can hear you speaking?
Good evening, I'm Pastor Edwin Moore, Commissioner. Although short-lived, I've enjoyed and it's been an honor to be a part of this group. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mayen Ngemba, and I'm also the co-chair of the Alliance.
Gordon Friedman, as Luke Katz indicated, Latoya Logan and I were probably have longevity as it relates to being on the commission.
Hi, my name is Commissioner Hadley, and I chair the CPOP committee.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Charmin Leon, representative for the Black Shield and also co-chair of the CPOP committee.
Yes, okay, thank you. So we're gonna move right into our next agenda item, which is certificates of appreciation to CPC.
Okay, we're gonna, the presenters are still not in attendance, so we can move to the next agenda item.
Okay, so Cleveland Police Monitoring Team update. Aisha Harway is here. Is there anyone else?
I'm presenting on behalf of the monitoring team. Okay. This is going to be without a podium. I don't know what a professor is without a podium. Let me figure out how to do this. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm here in my capacity as deputy monitor for the consent decree. I'm looking at you to make sure you can hear me. Okay, good. On behalf of the local team, Charles C., Victor Ruiz, who's here with me tonight, Tim Tramble, and Ronnie Dunn, I wanted to just cover some of the items that Jason had asked for us to recap. The first area that I'd like to talk about tonight will be a recap of the monitoring team's work over the past 12 months or so. I don't know if it's me or, okay. The monitoring team has been working on evaluating CDP's incorporation of key policies and training reforms that were created during the early stages of the consent decree implementation process. In addition to the routine monitoring, this is weird for my back to be here. Do you mind? Okay, thank you. I'm trying not to be rude by having my back to you guys, but I also wanted to make sure the community. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. All right, I'm going to start again with the first area. So the first area that I'll talk about will serve as a recap of the monitoring team's work over the past 12 months or so. The monitoring team has been working on evaluating CDP's incorporations of key policies and training reforms that were created during the earlier stages of the consent decree implementation process. In addition to the routine monitoring, observations, and technical assistance that we have done with CDP and continue to do throughout the implementation process, the team has conducted a few assessments over the last 12 months. They include a preliminary assessment of the investigative and adjudication processes used by CDP to evaluate actions taken by its officers during the police chase that resulted in the death of young Tamia Chapman. They also include an assessment of CDP's background hiring processes for lateral hires, so officers that were employed with other departments that come to Cleveland. A preliminary assessment of investigations completed by the Internal Affairs Unit. A preliminary assessment of OPS's investigations and recommendations related to complaints of officer misconduct from community members. An assessment of CDP's compliance with paragraph 179, which relates to the qualifications and selections of IA investigators, and the division's handling of allegations of probationary officer misconduct. We've also continued to monitor the work of the Force Review Board, the progress of the Training Review Committee, along with the development of trainings on search and seizure, use of force, crisis intervention, and district neighborhood awareness, all being produced by the training section in consultation with the Department of Justice, as well as the development of CPOC data collection forms and related training. So that covers the first area that I was asked to speak about today, what the monitoring has been chiefly involved with over the last 12 months. Next, as a preview of some of what lies ahead for the monitoring team's work in focus, the community should expect to see deliverables from the city and the monitoring team throughout the current year. Those deliverables are detailed in the 2022 monitoring plan filed with the federal court in March. And some of the highlights there include CDP's report on CPOP activities from 2021, the city's successful completion of searches for suitable candidates for the open positions of the Chief of Police, the OPS Administrator, the Inspector General, and the Internal Affairs Superintendent. The monitoring team will, among other things, evaluate the city's ability to incorporate and consider CPOP principles in the promotion processes for officers, as well as the third-party training that's going to be developed, curriculum for the training of IA investigators. And finally, I'll recap the impact of last year's charter amendment, now known as Section 115 on the consent decree. As you know, the voters of Cleveland passed the charter amendment, now codified as Section 115 and 119 of the city charter. One of the new charter provisions, Section 115.5, required the city to work to amend the consent decree, initially ordered by Judge Oliver on June 12th of 2015. City law under the new administration worked with lawyers representing the United States to review the consent decree and assess how best to ensure that the necessary revisions could be presented to the court. While Section 115 and 119 profoundly changed many aspects of police oversight in the city of Cleveland, now all areas of the charter amendment touch the consent decree. It is with that understanding that the parties worked collaboratively to come up with the revisions jointly submitted to the court on Friday, March 11th of 2022. I observed a large portion of those discussions and appreciated the earnest attention and commitment that the parties demonstrated on moving forward. The revised consent decree was approved by Judge Oliver on March 18th of this year. That decree includes the creation of the Chartered Community Police Commission and serves as a recognition by the parties that the Chartered Commission has broader authority and responsibility than the CPC that we're currently working under. The parties are in full agreement that none of the provisions in the proposed settlement agreement conflict with any of the provisions or any portion of the city charter. Of course, the revisions mandated by Section 115 bring an end to the role of the CPC as created by the consent decree in 2015. Of course, it should go without saying that we are greatly in debt for the work, well, you guys get paid, for the work, for the work that you all have done during your time. Please allow me to say that it's been my distinct pleasure to work with each iteration of this commission. I know some of you I haven't had the pleasure of knowing or getting to work with, but this commission has been earnestly at work since 2015, and our city owes you a great debt of gratitude. Judge Solomon Oliver wanted me to share the following message with you. Though I'm out of town and unable to be there with you in person tonight, please know that as the judge assigned to ensure the full and effective implementation of the consent decree, I am grateful for the invaluable work the Community Police Commission has done in helping to achieve the important goals of the decree. Those goals are defined by the decree include: 1, making the areas of CDP transparency, community problem policing, and bias-free, making policy recommendations. I'm sorry, you get a certain age and you need bifocals. I missed a whole line. Let me say that again. Those goals as defined by the decree include: 1, making policy recommendations to the Chief of Police, the Mayor, and City Council in the areas of CDP transparency, community police-oriented policing and bias-free policing. 2, working with Cleveland's many diverse communities to ensure that those recommendations reflect the values and priorities of Clevelanders. And 3, reporting to the entire Cleveland community on the police reform process. Judge Oliver went on to say that the work of the consent decree has been indelibly enhanced by the volunteer efforts of the consent decree created CPC. Thank you for your commitment, service, and sacrifice to our community. I hope you guys could hear me. I'll give you my written remarks later. Thank you. That concludes my report.
At this point, we're scheduled to have a presentation on the CPOP, Community Policing Plan Status Update. Representatives from the division will speak on the status of the community and problem-oriented policing and the plan that's come out of that.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Houston. I have been a staff member in the Department of Community Relations Department since December 2021. Prior to this department, I worked in the Department of Finance Administration, 5 years on the consent decree in a variety of roles and assignments across departments. To the residents of the city of Cleveland, to Mayor Bibb, Senior Advisor and Director Angela Woodson, to Councilman Jones, Cleveland Department Police Command Staff, Executive Officers and Deputy Chief O'Neill, District Commanders, Community Engagement Officers, Commissioners, CPC Executive Director and Staff, Community Relations Board, District Representatives, District Community Chairs, Department of Justice, monitoring team members, Victor Rees, Tim Tramble, and Aisha Hardaway. Thank you. As a former director for the Cleveland Empowerment Zone in the Economic Development Department, I advised small minority businesses and startup companies. And at that time, I had a favorite quote. The day that you plant the seed is not the day that you eat the fruit. Let me repeat that. The day that you plant the seed is not the day that you eat the fruit. Since early April, staff from the Community Relations Department, District 5 representatives, 5 district commanders, community engagement officers, and others came together with a singular purpose to address the requirements of the 2022 Cleveland Police Monitoring Team Plan, specifically Road 22, Consent Decree Paragraph 26, entitled Community Engagement District Policing Committees, that reads in full. At least annually, each district policing committee will present in its identified strategies, concerns, and recommendations to the commission. At the same time, an officer who is a member of the district policing committee will present to the commission's CDP assessment on ways to address and barriers to implementing the strategies, concerns, and recommendations of the committee. This small yet significant portion of the plan has been unresolved for over 4 years. Our cross-department collaborations have provided, I think, the pollination necessary in what I believe moving forward for a working group that can provide a consistent law enforcement strategies and engagement initiatives for those officers and community relations folks on the ground to the residents of the city of Cleveland. For purposes of clarity on these presentations, each of the 5 districts that are represented here tonight will be presenting an abbreviated PowerPoint summary of their longer reports. You will question why some of the information is repetitive. There are common elements that flow through all of the districts, but as you know better than I do, each of the districts throughout the neighborhoods of Cleveland are unique. District 2 is unique in its own ways as District 3, 4, and 5. Yet there are common elements that will flow through all of the differences. Each presentation will include examples of community and police. They will identify and highlight problems that are referenced in the monitoring team plan and describe workable short and long-term recommendations. We welcome questions and public comment during that section on tonight's agenda. First up is District 1, and everybody else will follow in that order. Thank you.
Okay, people, you know what it's like to pivot, don't you? So we have to pivot really quickly because we all have, different things we need to do, but we want to be respectful of your time and everyone's time who is here. So we're going to take about 10 minutes. We'll hold the presentation for CPOP for a second in order to allow Councilman Joe Jones and representative from the Mayor's Office, Angela Shute-Woodson, to present the commissioners with their certificates. We appreciate your pivoting with us, and we promise we'll get back to the program for CPOP. So the new commissioners who have come may introduce themselves. Meg Testa. I'm Meg Testa.
I got it.
Mark Casey Stevens. I have 2 microphones and I'm trying to work with this, so bear with me. I'm just doing what I'm told. I'm very good as an Indian. I'm not good as a chief, but good evening, everyone. I'm Angela Shute-Woodson. I am the Senior Advisor to Mayor Justin Bibb on Community and Governmental Affairs. It is a pleasure to be here this evening, and in his absence, he truly regrets that he's not here. Those that are in the room know he's passionate about this. He's passionate about accountability, but most of all, we want to thank this commission for doing an excellent job seeing it through and handing it in a place to where the new commission will at least have a starting point and to continue the work that you started. You have laid this foundation, and we are very appreciative of the hours and days you spent with us. Thank you so much. And we have letters for each commissioner.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to follow the lead of Mrs. Woodson and follow instructions as I should. I want to thank the commission. I want to thank the chairman and all the hard work that all of you have done. I had an opportunity to come to a number of the meetings over a space of time. Your work is in-depth. You've done a great job. I'm appreciative of the work that you have done, and I look forward to continuing to work with many of you as the new commission takes its roots. But as Mrs. Woodson said, this commission set the foundation. And some of the discussion that they had was very granular and detailed, and it's something that all of our citizens should have an opportunity to have the privilege to come to these meetings. And as the new commission moves forward, thankfully, God has already blessed you with having your own budget, and you'll be able to communicate in a way to our citizens so that we can fill up these rooms and deal with some of the most pressing issues impacting our city. But at the end of the day, I think one of the most important things to say is that we're one community. We're one city. We're one nation. And somehow, as Americans, we've forgotten that. We have put ourselves in various silos, we have divided ourselves, and we haven't understood that the most important thing that we do, and should always do, is serve others. And that's what this is all about at the end of the day. Serving and protecting our community and working together. So on behalf of the citizens of the city of Cleveland, council recognizes the hard work of each committee member who has dedicated their life and their time to work on behalf of the citizens of the city of Cleveland for 3 years. This council applauds your hard work, your civic leadership in supporting their mission and to ensure the police services in the city of Cleveland are delivered in a manner that is constitutional, effective, and consistent with community values, while preserving officer and public safety. This council further extends sincere best wishes to you for your continued success in all your future endeavors. Thank you for your hard work. And what I will do at this point is I will say the names of each commissioner, and this distinguished, beautiful lady will get this scroll to you. Commissioner Megan Testa. Commissioner Terry Eccles. Commissioner Gordon Freeman. Commissioner Harry Hatley. Commissioner Lewis Katz. Commissioner Latoya Logan. Commissioner Edwin Moore. Commissioner Mael Nigma. I hope I said that right. And I'm sorry, Commissioner Louis Reyes. Marquisa Steffens. And then we got the, okay.
I'm sorry, you forgot one.
Did we forget? Oh, we forgot.
The organizations, you guys have the resolutions.
You have there's a whole nother set of resolutions that's coming to you guys like this, right? This is a resolution recognizing your hard work. It's along the same lines, but it's a little bit more information in there and what you have committed yourself to. And this resolution of recognition, I won't read it all because I know you have a program, and I want to be appreciative of that, is the Black Shield Police Association. You can give me outside. Thank you. And this resolution is for the Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Association. And the resolution of recognition to the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 8. And with that, you all have a wonderful, great evening. I look forward to working with you all, and thank you so much for your service. May God continue to bless you and shine favor upon your head.
Thank you. We always appreciate recognizing the hard work of volunteers. Okay. Volunteers, okay, who show up and have dedicated because they are impassioned by this work and invested in the community. So we appreciate you sharing a little bit of recognition for what we do. But of course, everything that we've accomplished has been because of the community engagement, community support, community pushing, community challenging, community criticism, and of course, community love for their community. So we appreciate you as well, even though you don't get one of these certificates. So give yourselves a round of applause. So at this time, we will return to our regularly scheduled program. And these wonderful people to my left are going to present on CPOP, beginning with District 1.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Officer Carrie Adams. I'm from the 1st District, and I'm a Community Engagement Officer. The 1st District is the westernmost district encompassing neighborhoods such as Bel Air Puritas, Cadell, Detroit Shoreways, Edgewater, Cam's Corner, and the Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. The current facility was opened in January 1975 and is located at 3895 West 130th. There are currently 105,000 residents that live in the 1st District. The population of immigrants and refugee communities continues to grow. There are currently 150 officers and supervisors that work in the 1st District. 1st District Policing Committee, the chair is Commander Michael Butler, Community Relations Board Representative Tammy Hanna, and Information Coordinator is myself, Carrie Adams. The 1st District Policing Committee meetings take place on the first Thursday of each month at St. Ignatius, located 102nd and Lorraine Avenue. At the peak of COVID pandemic, the meetings were held virtually. Meetings are currently in person, but are working on adding a virtual component to the in-person meetings. Next is a demographics broken down by the different neighborhoods, 8 neighborhoods in the 1st District. The DPC has worked together to identify strategies and address crime. The following 6 strategies have been identified. Number 1, increase community engagement by utilizing community engagement officers and officers in the patrol section. Number 2, conduct coffee with the commander in all 4 wards in the district. Number 3, increase the amount of officers assigned to the violent crime reduction team and conduct monthly initiatives in hotspots. Use of CPOP tracking for areas that need more direct police attention. Use of the real-time crime center, data and community input to increase police presence in hotspots. And number 6, utilize partner agencies, support units, task force officers to target the identified areas. The DPC has identified the following concerns regarding safety and also the strategies to address these concerns. Concerns about safety. Number 1, traffic and parking issues. Number 2, drug crimes and drug overdoses. Number 3, quality of life issues. Strategies to address safety. Team up with the Bureau of Traffic to target locations that have most traffic crashes and calls for service involving parking issues. Number 2, increase drug search warrants and provide addiction resources information to the community. Number 3, create sustained partnerships with community members and organizations to create dialogue centered around quality of life and general safety issues. The DPC has identified the following concerns about increasing participation as well as these strategies to increase participation. Concerns. Number 1, virtual meetings presented technological challenges and limited participation. Number 2, citizens who have not been impacted by crime or do not have the time may not participate. Number 3, lack of participation of the youth. Strategies. Number 1, 1st District will increase advertisement of DPC meetings on social media platforms. Number 2, utilize officers in the patrol section to disseminate information about the DPC meetings during citizen interaction and at community events. Number 3, provide information about the committee meetings, safety meetings, district events to citizens who visit the 1st District lobby. Partnered with MyCom organization to elicit the participation of youth community members. And then the last slide is the attendance for the community meetings. And from January to July, they were either canceled or virtual, so we don't have the numbers. And that is it. Thank you.
All right, my name is Johnny Hamm. When I was first introduced to this Community Police Commission, I was a sergeant in policy sitting in the back room frantically taking notes at all these meetings. Now I'm the captain of basic patrol in the 2nd District, so I'm here to present for the 2nd District. The information you see up on the slide right now is the neighborhoods of the 2nd District: Brooklyn Center, Clark, Fulton, Detroit, Shoreway, Ohio City, Old Brooklyn, which is my neighborhood, Stockyards, and Tremont. The demographics are from the Center for Community Solutions. I know the website, you can't see it at the bottom, but you can look it up online if you want to search for your own community in Cleveland and find out the information about it. Real quick, I put up there population, poverty, and median home incomes. It's a lot of data to take in, but it can give you an idea of what the community is involved with and what they're having to live through. Go ahead. If you actually look it up on the website, this is how the information is presented in a slide. Very simple. It's about 4 pages to go through, but it provides a lot of information about the neighborhood. And that's one of the tools that we use to find out about our communities. Go ahead. Now, the settlement agreement, paragraph 25, deals with safety and crime issues. One of the concerns is that many crimes are the result of group activities or repeat offenders. In these situations and in others, the community involvement really helps us, because if we identify one of the group, that usually leads to the other one, to the other one, to the other one, and then we can get them all. So we focus attention on getting that suspect and related vehicle info out to our patrol officers right away. We have several means of doing that. Because I'm over basic patrol, it comes to me, and then I usually divvy it out to the lieutenants, who then let the officers know at roll call if there's somebody in specific that we're looking for, or any activities that are continuing, especially the violent crime activities. Spontaneous crimes are hard for us to predict and to manage, so the domestic violence that happens out of the blue. There's not much we can do for that. We can just respond and handle it after the fact. However, we can provide resources to people that are in situations like that they will be able to better their situation, hopefully, if they follow through with it, which is another resource that we have. And whenever there's a domestic violence, we have paperwork that we hand out. Also, businesses, houses, and areas that entice criminal activity is a concern. What these are is say the gas station late at night that has large crowds that gather around there, and it's not necessarily the gas station that's the problem, it's the crowds and what they get into, what they get involved with. So we got to manage ways of dealing with that. We have regular in-house meetings at the 2nd District between the support and basic patrol staff, so we make sure that we're all on the same page about what we're planning and we know what each other is doing. We also use additional resources. Michael McDonald is sitting in here for the 2nd District Community Relations Board. He's a resource that I use. He has contacts throughout City Hall that he can lean on to get help to deal with a situation that might not be criminal related, a crime thing that I could have an officer write a ticket for or make an arrest for. In those situations, it's nice to have other resources available, because arresting somebody does not solve a problem. In many situations, we need more help with that. One example is building and housing for home issues, quality of life issues. Go ahead and go forward. The next concern is paragraph 23 and 24 of the settlement agreement. This involves community engagement. And as I mentioned earlier, the public health is vitally important in order to prevent crime. So the more help we get from the community, the better we are able to actually manage a crime situation. And one thing going on right now is the dirt bikes everyone's having problems with. If we get people telling us where they're coming from and the houses and who it is, we can address it in other ways. We might not be able to arrest them for doing the activity, but at least we can let them know, hey, we know you're doing it, and it's time to knock it off. One of the other issues for the community engagement is getting back to the pre-COVID numbers of people being involved. And I think at least in the 2nd District, I can't speak to the other districts, our meetings are pretty much back to those numbers again. While COVID was going on, we were having our virtual meetings for several months. We're now back fully in person. We have a Brazos program, which is used to track our activities. These are community engagements. This way we have a means of saying, hey, we've done this amount of interactions over this amount of time, and these officers were the ones that were involved, and they were involved in these community events. Already mentioned getting other agencies involved and other resources. We also have our community engagement officers and community service unit officers. In the 2nd District, we have a lot of community groups that have their own meetings, and at any time they want a police officer there, all they have to do is send in a request, and we'll get somebody there. These are small neighborhood groups that may be 3, 4, 5 people to as many as 20, 30, 40 people that are involved. So all they have to do is reach out and say, hey, I want a police officer at this event because of this reason, and we'll get one there. Worst case scenario, it'll be me at the end of the night, and I'll handle it as best I can. But usually we try to get the CEOs and the community service officers there. And also with the Brazos, our community engagements, and our the tracking software that we use, we've really started to emphasize zone car involvement in community engagements, which is when a zone car interacts with somebody, to not just think about it as I'm going to do a crime report and I'm going to move on to the next thing. It's, you know, there's another problem here. I'm going to do my crime report. I'm going to find out if there's some other service I can provide or recommend in this situation so that it doesn't happen again, or to reduce its severity. Go ahead. And the last one is from the settlement agreement, paragraph 27, specifically about the district committee concerns. And the concerns are always, and you're going to hear this over and over again, is quality of life issues primarily. the vacant homes that are causing problems all over the city, the absentee landlords that are causing us issues. So this again gets back into the additional resources, because we can't always enforce action, criminal action upon these people, but building and housing will be able to. Other entities will be able to. We also offer multiple ways for people to report issues. You can tell an officer if there's a problem with a light out, or a neighbor's house that's not cutting his grass, or some of these other quality of life issues. You can also go to the 311 system out of City Hall. They'll handle it that way. You can also let your council person know, and they will relay that information to whomever it is that needs to know it to address it for you. Whenever anything is done in part of the CPOP plan, it's really important that we have follow-up. So if we find a problem that's not necessarily police related, we will follow up with that person one way or another. Right now we're doing it very well with the community or crisis intervention with our CRT groups that go out. An officer will crisis intervention somebody, which means they take them to the hospital because they're having a mental issue or other problems. And this CRT team will follow up with them later to make sure that they get resources, that they know what they can get, what they can't get, and to prevent this from happening again is the whole idea anyways. And also with our district community concerns is we want to make sure that the community understands that even the minor crimes can severely impact a community, and that this is a holistic effort that between the Division of Police, the City Hall, and all the other divisions within the city, that we're all trying to make Cleveland better. That's it. Now I'm handing off to the awesome.
Okay, I'm Officer Roger Jones. I'm a community engagement officer from the 3rd District. Any 3rd District residents in here today? Besides Sonia? Okay. All right, well, the 3rd District is one of the unique districts that we have, considering we have every major sports team in the entertainment district. So, any given week, we probably have 2 or 3 major events going on 2-3 times a week. So, it's a unique district that way. We encompass the East Bank of the Flats, again, downtown University Circle area, the Fairfax neighborhood, St. Clair Superior neighborhood, Broadway Slavic Village neighborhood, the Huff, Central, and Goodrich, Kirkland Park neighborhoods. The district also has a sizable population of the Asian community, dubbed Asian Town. Our DPC members meet with the Asian community leaders separately from our monthly DPC meetings so they can discuss whatever unique issues that they may have. Our 3rd District DPC committee consists of the co-chair, Commander Dorothy Todd, co-chair Vern Daniels, Community Relations Board member Sonia Shakir, and our information coordinator, John Coos. Commander Todd conducts our third District Community Policing meeting each third Tuesday of each month at 6 o'clock in person in the community room at the 3rd District. We just pivoted back to in person before we were doing everything like everybody else was virtually. The 3rd District does have the unique ability to do a hybrid meeting, so we have been continuing our WebEx meetings, which is keeping our numbers up so far. Go to the next one. What we're looking at there is demographics like everyone else. It's kind of hard to see, but most of our population is concentrated over in the Broadway, Slavic Village area, and in the Central area. And we even got it broken down by age in the Broadway and the Central areas. That's where most of our 18-year-olds are living at. You can go to the next one. In all the districts, crime plays a part in the conversation during our DPC meetings. The Part 1 crimes in the 3rd District that have the most significant impact on the communities are burglaries, homicides, felonious assaults, and grand theft of motor vehicle. These charts up here depict some of the statistics surrounding those crimes. Right here, I'm going to discuss some of the strategies that we've implemented to address those crimes. We partnered up with community block clubs. Information is key. If we can't get in touch with the community, we won't know what's going on around us. So we partnered up with those block clubs so we can exchange information in a neutral setting. We do attend monthly ward meetings conducted by the council members, which is another good way for us to exchange information and do face-to-face with the community. We've completed safety walks with the St. Clair Superior Development Corporation, conducted coffee with a cop events in Little Italy, Midtown, downtown locations. And again, the reason behind these public types of meetings is to give the public a chance to, you know, sometimes people don't want to make a report. They don't want to call the police to their house. It gives them a chance to meet us face to face and maybe pull us to the side, give us some info, let us know their problem, and so we can help them out. You can go to the next one. Safety issues. Next, we got identified safety strategies implemented to address the safety concerns. We continue to aggressively address quality of life complaints and follow up with phone calls, emails, and in-person visits with whoever made the complaint. And we also continue to monitor the situation and keep the citizen in the loop. We continue to do the park and walk, community engagement activities at various recreation centers and schools and businesses. We continue to attend monthly ward meetings, as I said before, with the council people to meet stakeholders, log any complaints so we can work together to come up with solutions. Emails are sent out twice weekly, Monday and Friday, by us, the community engagement officers. The emails are sent to the council members or their reps, and that's a way for us to stay in touch. Maybe something happened over the weekend, maybe something came up overnight. That's a way for us to stay in touch and keep that avenue of communication open. We do utilize social media. We have a Facebook page for the 3rd District. Most of our minutes from our 3rd District meeting, everything's posted in that social media format, so that even if you couldn't come, you could log on and see what was going on in the neighborhood and see what you missed. All right. Thank you. One of the ways we decided to increase in participation, obviously, was going hybrid. I think that when we were going strictly in person, you know, we got a lot of elderly population in our district, a lot of people that don't have cars, so the numbers in person really weren't, they were subpar. Once we pivoted, thanks to COVID, everybody found out what Zoom and WebEx was. So once we pivoted to that format, our numbers, and you can't see it here, but our numbers, we usually average around 40, 50 people a meeting. And that covers all demographics. That's my little piece.
How you doing, guys? I'm Officer Crystal Lewis. I'm from the 4th District. They put me here to keep the party going. I'm second to last. So hang in there with us. I know this is long, but we're doing our best. I'm using my phone because I'm on my phone all the time and it's easier for me to read. All right, the 4th District is approximately 17 square miles. It has 8 neighborhoods, 90,000 residents, and handled over 69,000 calls for service in 2021. It has 183 officers, that's supervisors and patrol, and that leaves us down about 40 officers. I think it's very good for you to understand that we are densely populated and we are very, very busy district. The 4th District DPC is made up of 18 members representing our 8 neighborhoods. And I think we have a couple DPC members here. If you could stand up or wave for me, that would be cool. This is the 4th District. Go ahead and stand up. This committee has been in existence. There you go, thank you so much. There's 2 of them here. This committee has been in existence for decades. The 4th District Community Relations Committee, that's the name that we used to call them. They love that name, but they know that they go under the DPC. The original executive board comprises of only 4 residents a long time ago, but in 2018, we increased that number to 18. This also allowed us to have a broader representation of the community and deliberately seat residents from every neighborhood. The DPC has occasionally held its meeting at the local high schools, and JFK, we held our meetings there, and also John Adams. This helped us include the youth's point of view. The responses to the questions that we are going to go over today were asked directly to the DPC and the JFK students. So I'm going to touch on just a few points, but the rest is given in the report, that huge report that I gave you guys, that I gave him. Identify strategies, go ahead, hit next. Identify strategies to address crime and safety issues. The DPC recommends a crime study, researchers to answer questions why. Why is crime higher in particular areas than others? This is already being handled by one of our DPC members, and I think it's through Case Western, which is pretty cool. JFK states gun safety in neighborhoods. They asked, I asked them, can you elaborate with that? One student expressed they would like a reduction in police officers unholstering their firearms, and as well as the community reduction of them producing firearms while fights are happening. So they don't like firearms, guys. So before I get to the next one, I just want to say the 4th District is statistically the most violent part of the city. We lead the way with felonious assaults, with homicides. That's in my report. So let's head to the next one. What are some of the priorities that the community would like to see? They would like to see quality of life issues, that loud music, that drug activity, the services, the neighbor trouble. John F. Kennedy students, they would like to express the needs for feeling safety and secure in their neighborhood. They also wanted to see their neighborhood more saturated with the police. I find this slide pretty cool because remember, we're the most violent part of the city. But our citizens would like us to address the loud music and the drug activity. But that's because when you go home, you don't want to deal with that. So I totally understand where you come with that. Next one, please. Concerns or recommendations for policing, tactics, and initiatives. The DPC would like increase in gang enforcement. The gang unit is centralized downtown. My community would like to see gang unit in our district, every single district. JFK says better social skills for training, social skill training for police officers. Less aggressive, soft, and initial approach, right? So let me explain that a little bit. I go around the city and I talk to kids all the time. And so I asked them, hey, if I could provide you with a better community service, better service period overall, what would that look like? If I could go back and tell all the officers, what would that look like? You know what they said? I'll tell you. They said, smile. I can't believe that. That's so, hey, smile some more, okay? That's it. Let's go to the next slide. Barriers, implementing strategies, priorities, and concerns. One of the issues is limited resources from the staff, from the police and the community. So what does that mean? We have some staffage shortages. Everybody knows, and our workload is pretty intense right now. And from the communities, sometimes volunteerism is a little bit lower, and the community has tons of obligations. Like our DPC members are leaders in the community, so they're board members of everything. Another one is communication. We have found that there is no secret that any interference with regular and repeated contact has a negative impact. So take a minute and think about COVID. The last 3 years, it has taken a huge toll in every aspect of everything in the world. And we are no different. I think about the people that I haven't spoke to, the people that I haven't talked, text, whatever, my family, my friends. And I think about that relationship, and it just feels so distant. So how does our community feel? For the sake of time, I'll let you think about that on your own. Now, in with these last 2 points. Education and transparency into all aspects of policing needs to continue and needs to grow. And lastly, the safety needs of the community are greater than the police. And I'll say that one more time so you can hear me. The safety needs of the community are greater than just the police. The social services that are needed in our household, the economic devastation that we have faced are incredible. I mean, look at the food prices and the gas prices. I shop every day for food. And I don't understand why food has gone up like it's doubled. A few years back, I seen a billboard and it said 1 of 5 homes are without food. That billboard was in the 4th district. I don't know if anybody's seen it. And when we walk into those doors of the community we serve, those 90,000 residents, those 69,000 calls for service, you can see the needs of the community are just greater than the police. I work with hundreds of resources, educational institutions, social services, churches, organizations just in the 4th district. And if we can just work together to serve, to educate, to love, to be there for one another, wouldn't that solve some of our communication barriers? Wouldn't that solve the lack of participation? Wouldn't that relieve some of the confusion that we face every day? And I can't believe, like Joe Jones, he said something about working together. I'm like, I'm gonna have to talk to his writer. So the barriers that we face on a day-to-day basis, knowing that we can work together to be better. So think of the impact that we can have if we just work together. Thank you.
Well, Crystal, if you want to come back up here and handle D5, you come handle ours too. All right. First off, I just want to say thank you for everybody in this room for having us. I know this is in District 4. I am Officer Waters. This is my partner, Officer Congress. We are the community engagement officers out of the 5th District. All right, currently our co-chair is Commander Johnny Johnson. The other co-chair is vacant, and Community Relation Board member is Theacious. He's back there too as well. And I am the information coordinator, Officer Waters, myself. 5th District is very unique because our monthly meetings is held at different locations. It's spread out in our district. We have right here behind you, if you can see, that's just several locations that we have our monthly meetings, which is held every 3rd Wednesday of every month. So please, please attend. We just had a meeting last night. It was via WebEx. It was actually good. It was combined with our neighbor to neighbor meeting as well. And right now our district has a total of 119 officers currently working at our district. And as well as our district is very unique as well because we have our different neighborhood. I'm pretty sure most is familiar with the Cleveland and Nottingham, as well as the Euclid and Green, Glenville, North Shore, and our Collinwood, and St. Clair and Superior neighborhoods. Our council staff, of course, is Ward 7 will be Stephanie House. Ward 8 was Michael Polenzik. Ward 9 is Councilman Conwell, and Ward 10 is Anthony Harrison. Okay, this is our crime slide here. Our Part 1 crimes, our most crime in our district will be GTMVs and homicides. And here are some of the identified strategies to address those crimes. Will be utilizing our real-time crime center, which is the cameras. They are game and much handy for our district and some of our crimes that occurred in our district. Of course, we operate our bicycle patrols as well as our CEOs, which is myself and Congress. And then also use the specialized internal external units. And then also beef up patrol in our hotspot areas. And then the 5th District DPC recommendations to address crime will be the Bureau of Community Relations officers to conduct crime prevention and personal/structured audits. And I can't stress this enough. Every meeting me and Officer Congress go to, We always said, if you see something, you say something. I can't stress it enough. Every meeting I go to, I say those words a million times. It's kind of embedded in my head. I go to bed saying the same thing myself. So please, if you see something, say something. I know this is not my district, but please, please take those words to heart, please. And that's about it.
Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Officer Congress. I want to speak about safety. Our safety concerns, vacant property, traffic, and illegal dumping. We've gotten a lot of illegal dumping complaints from community meetings saying they're dumping tires or whatnot, and just trash, big trash bags. The strategies to address the safety, building housing, deployment, cameras, like my partner said, that's huge. Environmental crimes unit. The cameras and people in the neighborhood who see these illegal dumpings and you know, the traffic problems or whatnot, we're able to nip that in the bud. The DPC recommendations to address safety, traffic engineering, deployment of CDP dirt bikes, and demolition processes. All those vacant houses that we have in the 5th District, you know, they use those to just commit crimes and hang out in, and sometimes it's good to, you know, start anew and take that down. Next slide. Increasing participation. Concerns about increasing participation, name change, transportation. That's pretty key in our district. We have a lot of elderly, and as my partner stated before, we have meetings all over our district, and you know, that comes in for meeting fatigue. You go to one meeting, and then they feel they need to go to another meeting, and go to another meeting, but it's all pretty much the same information, that at least coming from us. And they go to one meeting and just forget about the other meetings. Availability and apathy. Identify strategies to increase participation, increase advertisement. Any way we can, getting out in the community, doing events, social media, things of that nature. Neighborhood walks. DPC recommendations to increase participation, change the name back to the original name. And I think the biggest thing is participation surveys. There are a lot of people in our district, some people, they need a voice, and they may not want to say it out loud or in front of us, or call it in. Sometimes just writing it down and hearing what they have to say, because they may be shy. I think that's huge, and we should really stick to that part.
Okay, thank you so much for those reports. They were extremely detailed, informative, entertaining, and motivating. So we appreciate that. If you live in any of those districts and you want to get involved, you see the people who are standing there. That's who you need to speak to, attend their meetings. The good thing is that so many of the districts are offering meetings in various locations and virtually, because that's important as well. We can't assume that someone has the opportunity or time to get away due to childcare issues or whatever. So we appreciate you all making sure that that is happening. At this time, we want to open for public comment. What typically happens at this time is our staff members will have a mic for you. So we would greatly appreciate if you would raise your hand, wait until you have a mic so that we can properly record you, Ms. Bickerstaff. I see you. I got you. Thank you. So that we can make sure we get a mic to you. You can ask those questions. Would you like to answer questions if they have questions directly for you? You see how eager they are, right? It's 5 o'clock in the morning, they're ready to go. So please, if you have questions for that, they're gonna answer them to the best of their ability. If you have other questions, we will do as we always do and provide those answers for you at another time via our website. You can always email us as well if you think of a question later or if you are uncertain of how you want to ask that question tonight. We also know that we had Aisha Hardaway from the monitoring team, deputy monitor, present on the report, and you probably have questions about that as well. We typically do not take questions here and answer them for that, but what we would like you to do is if you have questions, to get that to us, and we will send it to the monitoring team so that the specific monitor who works on that area can provide you more detailed feedback so that we're not giving you general statements or upsetting you because we're telling you we do not know. So we will begin the process of open commenting with Ms. Brenda Bickerstaff.
That's right, a family member.
Okay, well, come get the mic.
I would like for her to come to me. Thank you, Ms. Shelley. Well, I didn't do this because my other comrade wasn't here, Ms. Kirkman, Latanya. We are family members that were impacted, unfortunately, by Cleveland Police. We are the writers of the new law that's been implemented, Charter 115, which was issue 124. So I want to introduce us, okay? To the community people up here, I don't really, the gentleman that's in our neighborhood, 5th District, what's your name again?
Waters and Congress.
I don't ever see either one of you. And I live in the 5th District. I don't see you.
I see you, Ms. Vickers.
Do you? Where you see me at? Where you see me at? I don't see you. Do you ever come up and say anything to me?
Yes.
When?
I'm one of the first original CEOs, Ms. Bickerstaff, so you have came to several meetings.
When? What meeting? When? What was the meeting about?
It was a community meeting.
Oh, which one? Because I haven't been to any in a while.
Excuse me, can I interject for a second? Just interject.
I'm just asking a question because I don't see.
Right, so what I'm gonna,
Oh, I'm sorry.
whew, I'm gonna be deaf by the time this is over. What I want to say is that it's important, like we've been doing this for a long time, for many, many years. There have been many, many meetings, okay? So what we do want you to try to do is be more specific about the content that was delivered. If you have questions about that, because it's going to be hard if we have kind of a back and forth tonight. It's already 7:16, and we do want to be mindful and respectful of every single person who is here. So we would like you to try to target your questions so that they have something to aim at and answering. That would be extremely helpful. But if you would like, if you have a question, we are.
Well, my question is, I don't see him in my neighborhood.
And Officers Waters and Congress gonna do better.
Pardon me?
They're gonna do better.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have questions?
Good evening. My name is Ronnie Cannon. I stay in Ward 1 on Evermere Avenue. I have two questions. One is for young lady standing in the back. You made mention about the virtual meetings. My question to you is, are they strictly virtual, or does like the older residents have the opportunity to actually call into these meetings as well? I know sometimes there's a huge issue with the digital divide and people's inability to get onto meetings via like utilizing the internet or computers. So are these meetings, and that could be for all you guys in your meetings, are they available?
I don't think ours are virtual yet.
In the 3rd District, we offer, all of our residents provide us with an email address if they have one. If not, we get them through the council people's offices or friends in the neighborhood. But there's also an ability for them to call in from a cell phone or a house phone too, and still be able to participate in the meeting.
Okay, and then thank you. And my second question is, results go a long way, and not just statistics. It's easy to show statistics where there's X number of arrests, but you had a depiction of where there was like a bunch of garbage. My belief is to show imagery where your work has shown some fruit, where you go back and take another image and show that the work that you guys did actually worked. Same way if you mentioned earlier, sir, when you talked about like the gas station be littered with a whole bunch of people, even if you came back, whatever tactics you guys employed, that you come back and show where that's no longer the issue. I think that's what shows a lot of results to the community if you were able to do that. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Everett Gransbury. I actually live in the 4th District. First, before I say anything, I want to thank you guys for the service that you do to this community. Just like the military, you guys are valued institutions, so you guys should be congratulated for that. I have a question about overlapping service areas. In the 4th District in particular, you have 2 police departments, Shaker Heights and Cleveland Heights. And I'm trying to figure out how that service delivery matches and how you guys communicate, because I've seen instances in my own neighborhood where I've had to report a single crime to both Cleveland police and Shaker police, and neither one would respond because they said it's outside their jurisdiction. What is going on with that?
I'll answer that. I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the department. Here in the 4th District, we border all the heights. Shaker Heights, Maple Heights, Warrensville Heights, Garfield Heights, Newburgh Heights. We border everything. So I think it's an opportunity for the division and the other cities to work together a little bit better to make sure we serve the community in the most proper way. So I'll bring that up to them.
In the future, if that happens again, ask for a supervisor.
Well, the other thing, sir.
Don't let the officer tell you that they can't do it. Ask for a supervisor.
I mean, well, you can ask for a supervisor, but when a crime is taking place and you're asking for assistance and an officer is within shouting distance of the crime, that's a major problem.
Yeah, that's a whole different issue. Yeah, you're right, sir.
So, sir, we would like to, after the meeting, check your address to figure out, sometimes addresses get mixed up when they're right on the border.
Right.
So we'd like to check and see, is it in Cleveland?
Totally understood. My address is in Cleveland, across the street of Shaker Heights.
Okay. So, okay, I got it. I can see that. All right.
Good evening, everyone, again. I would like to encourage, if you live in Ward 1, first of all, attend all your meetings. That would be the one meeting that we would give, which is the community relations meeting that meets, right now they meet on Zoom or WebEx, which is the 4th Wednesday of the month, and that's 7:30 in the, 7 o'clock in the evening. We give a lot of valuable information out, and Commander, he does give a lot of information about a lot of things that are going on in the neighborhood. Also, I'm going to say this. Please attend your street club meetings or block club meetings, because they give information out as far as, you know, what's going on in the neighborhoods, what's going on downtown, maybe with the county. And also, if you like, attend your councilman's meetings. He's got some things going on out there, but please attend all those meetings. You'll find out a lot of good information that you can take with you and possibly use. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sharonda Morgan, and I live on 175th. That is Mr. Max. I have been this is gonna be the 3rd summer. It's like I've been calling, it's like I understand the police, it's like they know me by my name, I'm calling. I don't want the corner shut down, but it's like I didn't know what to do, so it's like I called like Columbus trying to get help. Which Joe Jones, they did come down, it was on Facebook, y'all know we all live every day on posting us on the corner. I did go to the meeting, I have been going to our community meetings, which I was there the last time they was talking about what happened from Miles to thing, which was very interesting. But I've been there maybe 9 years. It's like this last 3, it's like I'm on the home, so I can't go anywhere. It's like they told me it was a watering hole. So it's like a watering hole, when you go inside, it's only so many cars, so many people. It's like now that it's warming up, I haven't called because it's like I'm watching everybody ride by. They had a nice officer that was there. When I told her on my way, they blocking the sidewalk. They're up on the sidewalk. They're blocking the fire hydrant. You can't even get out. It's like I don't even really know what to do. So it's like the guy, he knows who I am. It's like I don't really know what to do. And I'm not saying I know we have officers on my street. I respect it, everything. So it's like I called, I tried to get with the commissioner. Can you put something in place? Like if they know that you're coming. It's like everybody know the bikes are at the corner, at the gas station. Every Sunday. It's just, like I wish that we can do something. It's like when I call, I know they handling crime, people getting killed. But it's like in my mind, if this was Shaker, they would stay right there in that corner. I'm just saying, just stop. Doug, whatever his name is, man, keep the corner clean. Keep his neighbors. So it's like my neighbors, they say, we're afraid. When I call the police, they say the squeaky wheel is me and another neighbor's calling. The other neighbors are saying, they're not gonna do anything. When I went to, he's a nice lady talking. I said, when I passed, saw her coming, y'all passed and saw him right there at the fire hydrant. They right there on the sidewalk. It's like, I just want some help. But it's like, I even with my Joe Jones, he helped me, the councilman, I needed maybe the block party or whatever, I need to do something. But it's like, I own a home and I can't go anywhere. And it was not like this 3 years ago. We had the cops that was on TV, First 48, they would be in there, beautiful neighborhood, quiet. Now it's like, now it's hot. Y'all know it's gonna be 90 tomorrow. I can't even, my quality of life, I had to close my windows, the cars. It's like, I just want them to keep going. Just make them just go. I don't know what to do, then it's like, then they get, when I come outside, I'm trying to, it's like somebody need to help. The next morning, garbage all up and down the street. Yes, they do clean it up, but when I leave at 6 in the morning, the street is a mess. So it's like I'm almost thinking, I'm close to Shaker, so it's like I'm thinking I'm scared now. Somebody that's shooting last year, remember there was a shooting, now this is the 3rd summer, we getting ready to go in again. If the capacity, I'm not sure what the street, as the neighbors, this is our street, they shouldn't take our street over, and they're taking the street over. So it's like, that's all. If I can help, whatever, whatever I need to do. I got the best looking yard on the street, 4th morning. But it's like, I can't even work in my yard. The dirt bikes, they're on my, so, thank you.
After the meeting, I'll get your information, okay?
And I would like to the virtual, but it's like I have been called.
My name is Sheila Harris, and I stay on 177th, not far from where she lived with Mr. Max. But I need to know, what are you guys going to do about these dirt bikes? It's like they're taking over. I'm afraid to ride next to them. I see police go past them. I mean, what is your policy on these dirt bikes, these motorcycles? I mean, I understand the motorcycles, but these dirt bikes are taking over, and the spin-outs. These spin-outs, what are you guys going to do about these spin-outs? Like, every weekend, they meet up at Harvard Lee Shopping Plaza, and they do these spin-outs. And it's like I'm sure out of all these spin-outs, like somebody can come by and see or stop them, or their presence could be there so they can stop these spin-outs. I had an incident up at Harvard Lee Shopping Plaza. It was an incident where a person said that my husband and I attacked her. And I said, if you pull the camera, and this is my husband's ex-girlfriend, so she made up this story. And I said, if you pull the camera, you'll see exactly what happened. The cameras don't even work. Not one camera up at Harvard Lee Shopping Plaza worked. I'm confused. Why don't you have any cameras up there? That would, I think, would help out a lot to see the spin-outs, to see people getting robbed. It would it would help, but not one camera working. I mean, what are you guys going to do about that? Like, we need help in our community. We are at our wits' end. Like, these guys are taking over, especially Mr. Max, the Epic nightclub, all of that's right there together. They're taking over, and these guys riding up and down these streets,
It's taken over. What do we do? I mean, we just let them take it? Can the police be present? I mean, we need help. We need help.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brandon Kutz. I'm the commander of the 4th District. So we hear you with the chargers and the spin-outs and the dirt bikes. We're trying to work with the owners of the Lee Harbor Plaza about putting more cameras on their property. The Division of Police is coming up with a plan to try to deal with these, but it is a challenge, right? It's very difficult to chase these folks. They're not complying with us. They're not pulling over, and we're not going to be chasing cars through the neighborhood because that's more dangerous than just about anything else that we do. But we understand there's a concern. We are putting a plan together. All the plans dealing with that are very resource heavy, so it does take a lot of effort on our behalf, but it is being worked on. We had Highway Patrol out here about 2 weeks ago. We worked for 3 days with them. We did get some bikes, kind of dried up as soon as they knew we were out there looking for them. But we do have plans in place. We're going to try to get some of these taken care of before the summer gets into full swing. All right. And if you want to hear more about it, come to my monthly meeting. We usually talk about it at the monthly meeting. Okay. And I'll give you my contact information. Thanks.
Hi, I'm in the 4th District. I thank you all for all the work that you all do. I would like to know when you call and the city has an ordinance about problem homes, is that being enforced? Like you're supposed to get so many times that you go out to that home and they're supposed to get a ticket. Also, so another thing I have called plenty of times because where I live, it's a lot of drug activity. And I'm a very caring person, and I see this particular woman out there all the time. She's on drugs. I call the police department, and it's like I almost wait up, hoping, praying that somebody comes, and no one never show up. And I just, I like I said, I'm in the 4th District. I appreciate what you all do, but, I would like to see more of these ordinances that we have for the city of Cleveland enforced. Thank you, Commander.
Hi, my name is LaShawn Caldwell. I'm in Ward 4. My question is, if an officer pulls out of the 4th District and they don't have a priority call, where is the designated location that you're headed to? Because I feel if Ward 4 has the most crime, there should be certain hot spots. If you leave the station and there's no important calls, we should be making certain rounds so that the visibility of the officer would be there. So my question is, when you leave the station and you don't have a call, who determines where that police car goes and what do you do?
Well, I'll answer. It's a basic patrol issue in many instances. The zone cars that are coming out, we get reports every week about where incidents are happening within our district, our hot spots, and that information is relayed to those officers. But most of the time when they come out, they're handed 2 or 3 assignments. They don't come out without assignments. They normally start their day with assignments, then work through some of those, then they get some free time. And if you have a specific area, contact the district and request a special attention, and officers will then get that at roll call and say, oh, I'm going to add this one to my list. Because every officer has a little list of their little areas within their zone that they like to take care of. And once you're on that list, you'll see that officer ride by there every so often.
What about the ordinance? You didn't answer my question.
Yes.
Yes.
That ordinance does exist. It's
Yes.
nuisance properties.
Yes.
We use that often in the 2nd District. I'm assuming everybody does the exact same thing as we do. Our community service unit handles a lot of that. We work with the Department of Public Safety. We contact them and they manage that whole process.
What about the 4th District? I'm in 4, in the 4th.
It's the same. I would assume the exact same
So
thing.
they're doing it.
So if it's a set property and you get continued calls,
Yes.
make sure the commander's office knows about it. I'm sure his community services unit will then research that, and then let public safety know that this gets declared a nuisance through public safety, and then any calls within the next 6 months, there's a fee attached to it. An additional fee to any criminal charges that are filed. Let me say that.
Hello, my name is Jer Johnston. I live on Benwood. It's off of Harvard where we have the problems at, off 151st turning to Benwood. I've talked this, I'm a new here and I bought the house last year. I have other things that's going on it. But I've talked to several neighbors that lived in that still live in that area. As you come off 150, excuse me ma'am, as you come to 151st onto Benwood, they said it was a guardrail there. My alarm went off a couple times, and I had policemen to come with silent alarms, didn't know it, just knew in the house, and had my own self put in jail a month. But make a long story short, the problem that it is, right there as you come off 151st, around that curve to Benwood, I'm the second house as you come around the curve. Last week, a gentleman was going round out Benwood to 151st. It's going so fast, his car went up in the yard and caused a lot of problems. The rest of them not going to speak up, and it doesn't matter. I live alone. I live in my house. I had cameras to put around so I can be safe when I come home. The street is like Indianapolis 500. They don't stop at that stop sign. They don't, and they fly around that corner, and it's a mess. It's a mess. I would like to know, but in your time of process and working, something can be done about that? I don't know why they took the guardrail, and it's not important. And what's important now, the problem is getting outrageous. So if whatever needs to be done, I would love to do what I can to make it better. I want to let my grandkids come to town. And I don't get to see my family, but my family is more important to save than is anything else. And I've been living in my house almost a year, and I don't trust that corner. So I don't want my grandkids coming for no telling. The incident happened last week. It can happen to my house. I don't want it to happen to no one's house. So I bring this. I'm glad I had this opportunity. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sir, real quick, let your council person know about that.
Shelley.
They can sometimes push to get those guardrails. It's happened several times that I know of in the 2nd District and the 1st District, where the council people have been really good at getting the right person involved to get that taken care of, especially if one was there before.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Logan, there are 2 more questions.
I understand, they're gonna have to wait. It's 7:30, we wanna be respectful again of everyone's time, and I know that we could probably be here for forever if we continue. So we are gonna end public comment for now. We are gonna thank the officers for their and we are going to proceed with the agenda today. But please be mindful that any questions, any comments that you have, any clarification you would like, all you need to do is contact the staff with the commission or the commissioners via email. We have an office location. If you receive this beautiful annual report, then our contact information is detailed in here, and you can submit your questions or comments, and we will be happy to respond to them at that time. So now we're going to move to our next agenda item, and I'm going to have Lou actually facilitate this part.
Okay, what we're going to do for the next 15 minutes is tell you what the commission has been doing. Remember, This is the outgoing commission. We are all volunteers. And we've put in a lot of work as volunteers. The group I head is called Outside Affiliates. How effective and how constitutional the Cleveland Division of Police is also depends upon how much assistance they receive from the 9 private police departments operating within the city and operating under memoranda of understanding with the city. Over a year ago, we realized that how well the consent decree would be enforced would also depend upon how well these 9 private police departments cooperate with the city and commit to teaching their officers under the consent decree. And also, the MOU requires that each private department sets up a complaint board. And so we sent a set of questions to each of the 9 private departments, and it was amazing. We were ignored by at least 6 of them. But what a difference an election makes. When we resent the questions in the last 100 days, we now have responses from each of the departments. And we will turn over to the next commission the information we have accumulated from these 9 departments, so that the next commission will be able to enforce the agreements. This is the last year of the memoranda of agreement, so the city will have to enter into continued agreements with these 9 departments, sometime starting this year. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Logan is the chair of the accountability.
So I realized there are some questions about that, and people were raising their hands. Please see Lou after, or email him, or get with any of the staff. Shelley is here, Juanita is here, Brian, Sarah, and of course Jason are available to support in getting you any information that we have, and of course connecting you with the work that we're doing. My report is simple today. I chair the Accountability Committee. I have been honored to do so since 2016 in investing in moving this concept from an idea to a living, breathing process. While I am saddened to leave something I love, I believe that it's in good hands because we have community members who truly are vested in this process to continue it. Right now for accountability, what our main goal is to really feed into what District 5 was talking about with participation surveys and the need to lift community members' voices. We have an active survey right now. We would love for you to complete that survey. It's available on our website at clepcc.org. If you would like a paper copy of that, again, contact the staff and we can get that to you. One of the reasons we developed this survey wasn't to give you more work. It was to help us engage in a process of a longitudinal study to understand police reform progress from year to year to year with consistency in questioning, consistency in feedback across all demographics, which means we have a high response rate for police officers as well. Because one thing I do know There is no such thing as pro-police. It's pro-community, because police officers protect and serve the community. And in order for us to do that, you have to be as invested, as concerned, and as receptive to criticism as all of us. So if you're interested in participating in that survey, please make sure that you reach out to us. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's 7:43, now 8 o'clock, I'm gonna run on out here. But if you catch me before I do that, I'll be happy to link you with some resources, and I'm gonna pass this on to CPOP, our wonderful co-chairs, Harriet Hadley and Sergeant Sharman Leon.
Good evening, I'm Sharman Leon, and thank you all so much. It's a pleasure to serve. I'm a public servant by heart, at heart, and that's never changed. For this last year and a half that I've been involved with CPOP, when I started, we were on Zoom. We reviewed what was in place at the time then of the CPOP plan. We had a good showing of residents that attended those virtual meetings and the CDP over the year and a half. But like a community member said, folks are looking for outcomes.
Yes.
Will the citizens not feel the need to vote for an ordinance where permanent oversight is necessary? I personally believe in permanent civilian oversight because of, power corrupts, complete power corrupts completely. And the only power that officers have is given by community. And if the community felt like this was unnecessary, we would not be here, okay? We know there's inequitable policing, wrongful convictions, different policing practices depending on the neighborhood. That's why we're here. CPOP was required because other than those who always show up to community members, there's a great portion of the community who is not heard, who is unable to make it. I know we say things like, go to meetings, show up. The disinvestment in our communities has caused and creates environments where people cannot show up to meetings. It's up to those of us who can to increase the ability to get that information to folks. And don't think people don't care about their communities because they're not showing up. It's enough to get up in the morning, to get ready for work, to get your babies together, to go to work, to get back on the bus, to go get them babies, to come home, to make them, it's a lot. And so not to talk down about the folks who may have a hard time showing up, but what can we do to help them show up? When we know this criminal justice system is propped up primarily on the over-policing that happens in our communities. That's why we're here. Unlike Lou, I'm not saying, I'm very excited. I understand Lou's been here for a lot longer than I have, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the community. I'm excited for the new commission. I'm excited for the Division of Police and the city as a whole, because as Martin Luther King said, I believe that the arc of moral universe is long, but it does always bend towards justice. I believe in that. So thank you so much for allowing me to serve, and I will still continue to not apply for this new commission. I will be here and will support in whatever way you guys need me to. Thank you.
Well, I just want to start off by saying thank you for joining our commission. You did an outstanding job, Commissioner Leon. You jumped right in, would you say 10 toes down? 10 toes forward. And you gave this committee just what it needed, because you have that rich history. So I want to say thank you. I also want to say thank you to the community and the families that were strong enough and courageous enough to get up and fight for something that they truly believed in, because guess what? You showed the country that you could make a change. So I applaud each and every one of you. Also, I was honored to have this position. Very honored. There was times that it was very arduous and very hard for all of us to be on this committee and this commission. But we all kept fighting, we all kept working together. not fighting each other, but we sat down and we talked to the police and we tried to find common ground. Aisha, I want to say thank you so much for all the hard work that you've done, even with the CPOP committee. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate all the other commissioners, and most of all, the staff that tirelessly worked with us. Shelley, I think you're the hardest working woman in Cleveland, because you know what? I just thank you for your commitment to Cleveland, you know, and what you do for the citizens of Cleveland. So with that, I like Sharm, I did not apply for this commission, so I'm going to say goodbye. I'm very happy, I'm very excited, because I see what good things are going to happen in this community. Because one thing I know for sure, that the families are going to be right there making sure it's right. So I thank you so much, and I bid farewell.
Commissioner Testa will talk about officer welfare.
I'll make this fast. My name's Meg. I'm a psychiatrist. I've been serving on the commission. I have a work group of other psychiatrists, social workers. We have clergy, officers, who are all invested in the officers' wellness. So the consent decree states that the officers need to be well so they can police well. And we've collaborated a lot with the department to finalize a survey to assess the officers' needs, and then we will make some recommendations. That's it.
Gordon Freeman.
Thank you. When Latoya and I came on the police commission, it was just after President Trump was elected president, and when we were sworn in, it kind of looked grim. It was grim, by the way. But as the co-chairman or the chairman of the search and seizure work group, we were able to accomplish several important things. And we engaged with the city of Cleveland in a dialogue with the police department, the city of Cleveland, regarding approximately 5 GPOs, general policy orders, regarding search and seizure, stop and frisk, Miranda rights, and other somewhat esoteric legalese areas which really affect everyday individuals on the street, in their cars, and in their homes, dealing primarily with the Fourth Amendment, the right to privacy. And though we didn't achieve all of our aims with the city, they did hear us to a certain extent, and I'm very proud of the dialogue that our work group had with the city and with the debate that we had with them. Our work group was made up of Lou Katz and Jonathan Whitmer-Rich, Cleveland State University Law School, and others from the NAACP, as well as Equality Ohio. So that's in the rearview mirror. Presently and lately, we also challenged and wrote a draft regarding vehicle pursuits. Certainly, in light of the tragic death of Tamia Chapman, what the city's policy was regarding vehicle pursuits was raised significantly in the public eye. And the Inspector General, who then became the county sheriff, Chris Vallon, wrote a recommendation and analysis of the city's policies that were far-reaching. We have not heard from the city regarding their response to those recommendations. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Finally, lately, we were challenging the new use of police technology and surveillance in the city regarding the use of facial recognition, shot spots, and the like, and the use of drones. We drafted a 48-page white paper that we submitted to the city recommending direction that the city should consider, and using the City of Oakland's analysis of dealing with surveillance and the parameters. We were not against the use of technology in police work. If it makes it better, that's terrific. As long as it doesn't trample on the rights of individuals. And we believe that before the city, which claims not to have a lot of this technology, but before the city adopts these technologies, puts them into practice, we believe there ought to be policies that create direction for the police to follow. And it's our hope that the new police commission will use this draft as an outline to follow. And I hope that the new police commission likewise vigorously pursues the issue of police pursuits and the policies regarding them, because they're very dangerous both for the officers and for the citizens. So all in all, I think our work in our work group has been very successful, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done.
You know, as we end our tenure on the commission, it's been one of the greatest professional experiences of my life to work towards police reform. And as volunteers without any power, the city found it very easy to say no to us when we asked for materials. And I think one of the proudest things for me, and I hope for my fellow commissioners, is that without power, we managed to outrage people in the division, people in the monitor's office, a judge in the federal court, and I think for a group of volunteers, we really got a lot done. And I think the city has made a tremendous decision in going forward with a commission that will have power, that has subpoena power, and that will have the opportunity to have the final say on discipline. Cleveland can serve as an example to the rest of the country at this point, and let's hope we get it right. Thank you.
And with that being said, good night.